We already have the AU here, African Union, but there's a lot of division. There's differences in languages, currencies, and also ease of movement isn't really good. Borderless Africa, in a sense, would be making Africa one.
It's about reuniting people. They have tried to separate us among ourselves.
What did you experience at the borders?
It was a very difficult experience, of course. There is a lot of corruption. They were actually asking more than what was really required to pass. And to do the checkup, we needed to pay. I'm not sure we are supposed to pay for just a policeman to check on you.
There's been a lot of instances.
How are you?
Something else. Everything.
Everything is fine.
Family.
Huh?
How's family?
Good.
Family is good.
This water.
Give me money. Wait till you break up.
Huh?
Wait till you break up. I say wait till you break up. Wait till you won't give me. Hey. Wait till now. Wait till you won't give me. Oh yeah, give me something. Oh yeah, give me something now. Give me something.
You give me something.
Yeah. Give me money. Money.
Money. Why?
Give me.
Why? Okay, bye. Give me money. No?
The famous give me money, the Nigerian border patrol guards demanding money.
So we're back again with another episode of Borderless Africa, and we want to share our opinions on what we think about moving within African countries as African, or not we moving to these Western worlds and European countries and other stuff. So yeah, I'm here with Benjamin. Benjamin, can you introduce yourself to us?
Hi everyone, my name is Benjamin Moore. I am a Congolese student, actually residing in Ghana. I'm learning graphics and design and I'm enjoying Ghana, yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Ebenezer Tay Amfutete. I'm a student currently studying civil engineering.
Alright, so when we talk about Borderless Africa, a lot of people have been hearing Borderless Africa, but then it's actually not really so in reality when it comes to moving around in Africa. So today I wanted to know your thoughts on what Borderless Africa really is.
What I think about Borderless Africa, I think it's a very good perspective that is probably going to be a very important part of success in Africa. I think it will bring a lot of development.
The first time I heard or read about Borderless Africa was when the African Continental Free Trade Area was initiated. We already have the AU here, African Union, but there's a lot of division. There's differences in languages, currencies, and also there's ease of movement isn't really good. There's difficulties in trade because of currency issues and differences in currency, language, and yeah. Borderless Africa, in a sense, would be making Africa one, the oneness of Africa, where we are one Africa, one in trade, one in currency, one in thinking, our mindset being one, a good success, good prosperous Africa, a great continent. And other continents did it, and it's better for them. They are great in whatever they are doing. I think we can do that also. African can be one. We are one, but there's a lot of differences within ourselves. So Borderless Africa, I think the main aim would be making Africa one in everything. Yeah, that's the little I know.
That's great. And Benji, what about you? What are your thoughts?
First, I think it's a very good concept in a way that it will probably help us to develop our countries, our different countries in terms of economy, social life. I think it's going to increase. It's probably going to increase our economies and boost our different currencies values and put Africans together. So I think it's a very important and interesting subject. But it's just about Africans coming together first and trying to have a single way of thinking. And yes, it's probably going to work.
Me personally, what I think about Borderless Africa is when Africans are able to move among African countries freely without any restrictions. So in this case, we can be able to share our ideologies, our resources, our human resources actually. So if you're Nigerian and you have a lot of experience in a specific field, especially in medicine, you can go to South Africa without any restrictions, and then you'll be of great assets to South Africa. The same way applies to a South African moving to a country like Eritrea or a country like Egypt, sharing his knowledge from South Africa to Egypt. So I think when we implement an initiative like this, we'll be able to help. Benji, you have a lot of experience in moving across different African countries. How has your experience been like across the different countries you've been to?
Okay, so first I've noticed we have a lot of similarities, even of course we sometimes speak different languages. I think we have a lot of similarities, and it's just about, as I was trying to say, it's just about trying to come together and have a single way of thinking. But I think the problem right now, we have a big problem in how to say, maybe socializing. Yes, we have a lot of African countries have a very different way of thinking. I mean, a lot of African people in different countries, and then you have, for example, the people in South Africa who at a certain time maybe don't see themselves as Africans. Yes, and you have people in Nigeria who have a kind of bad reputation. I think Borderless Africa is going to be it's of course something that's going to bring a lot of change in Africa, but I also think it's going to be a very good challenge because it's about reuniting people. Because first we have to remember that before before creating countries, when the white people came in Africa, they have tried to separate us among ourselves and then to create borders. So I think if you have to think about removing borders, then we have to probably reunite. Yes, to be unite, and then try to remove the borders. But is it like, are we really going to totally remove all the borders? Like, is it going to be like a very free move? This is a question I'm probably going to ask you guys.
Yeah, so what I think about this is you're not totally removing borders actually, but easing restrictions. You get, because when you're a Ghanaian and you're moving to Kenya, you should be able to move there freely as like moving within West African countries. You can just take a Ghana card and move to any West African countries despite being like Ghanaian. You get?
Yes.
So the only time restrictions come is when you're moving to, let's say, an East African country or a North African country. That is when you are being asked at the port of entry. That is, they'll be like, do you have any visa? Do you have this? And even if you have those documents and everything right, they tend to humiliate you sometimes. There have been incidents where a lot of Africans, they move to different countries within Africa, and then they are being treated as if they are even not Africans. And they allow all these people from these Europe and other stuff to move to their countries freely. So I think restrictions has to be eased, not completely removing our borders. So Eben, what are borders?
I think borders are good, boundaries are good. It's good to like confine yourself in like a particular space, but you should also allow others to like enter easily if you are also going out easily. It's not like Wakanda and you're just there by yourself having everything. We are countries. Countries depend on other countries. You have to like move out like for this. People have to come in for this. But the entry and exit has to be great. The barriers shouldn't be like very, very stiff. Especially since we are all in a particular area. Since we are all in Africa, the barriers of entry and exit shouldn't be very, very stiff.
You are from Congo and you came to Ghana recently. Can you share a bit with us some of your experiences, at least moving within these African countries? What did you experience at the borders?
Okay, so first of all, moving from Congo to to Ivory Coast, I think it was a very good experience because I took a plane. Yeah, I took a plane. I think it's 2 hours flight or something like that. It was a very good experience, and I think they actually had good equipment, and that was in 2022. So I think it's probably better actually. And then from Cote d'Ivoire, I went to Liberia, but I didn't go there by taking a plane. I went there. I took a bus. I actually took a bus, and we went to the borders, and it was a very difficult experience. Of course, there is a lot of corruption. Yes, this is something. Yeah, it's Africa. Yeah, like there is a lot of corruption, and yes, it was also about knowing people. Yes, because at a certain time when I reached to the borders, I actually had some documents correct, but like there was a lot of complications. And then after it,
So can you share a bit with us some of the complications you faced? Like, did they demand money?
oh yes, they actually they were actually asking more than what was really required to pass. And then to do the checkup, we needed to pay. I'm not sure we are supposed to pay for just a policeman to check on you and this, so you have to pay. And Sierra Leonean lady who had her kids, and then I think they didn't have no passport. Yes, they were all like I think 18 or 19 years old, and the lady was the only one to have a passport. So she reached to the immigration officer because I was left on the side. Yes, my case was still to be reviewed, and then they were like discussing, and she was explaining her situation, and then the guy was like, oh no, it won't be possible, like we can't let you cross like this, like that. And then later she was like, I have some, you understand, yeah. And then I think they found an agreement because I was left on the side, and then they were discussing something, and then after a certain time I've seen all of them passing and going inside the country. So this is maybe a big problem we have. But a question, I'm going to, I will still continue, but a question is like, is it okay? Isn't it the free, the borderless Africa we are talking about? Is it? Are we supposed to see it as a bad thing or as a good thing?
It's actually supposed to be a good thing to benefit both parties. I mean, the different countries are now supposed to be something that is going to benefit every single body, like no matter what. Because like your people are coming to my country to help grow the economy, and my people are also moving to your country to help grow the economy. We are exchanging ideas here and there, so it should be something that will benefit both parties. But if you're like the case, because of corruption at the borders and immigrations like tormenting and demanding so much from immigrants here and there.
Give me money, give me money.
It's something that actually has turned out to be a disadvantage to other countries.
So from there, after spending a little time in Liberia, I went back in Cote d'Ivoire. I had a very good experience with, even though the border between Ivory Coast and Liberia is not as modern as it was supposed to be. It's not as clean as it was supposed to be. And then after it, I reached the Ghanaian border, which was like this was a very incredible experience. Yes, there was a kind of high security. Yeah, I was feeling like I was having like okay, so I didn't have anything bad on me, but the security was so high that I had to check on myself, like to see if I don't have like any cocaine or drug on me, because like I was like, damn, this is crazy. Yes, there was a high kind of security. I'm not trying to only talk bad, like to put a bad talk on Liberian people. I think they also have a very positive side on when it comes to security, border securities, yes, but they also have problems, and this is what I'm talking about. But when I reached the Ghanaian border, the Ghanaian border between Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, yes, on the Cote d'Ivoire side, it was very good, very clean, good security, good control, quality control, yes. And on the Ghanaian side, I've seen the people being very straight. Yes, they were very, very straight. There was a high quality of control and like, yes. But anyway, you could still love with the officers, and yes, it was a kind of good mood, if I can say that. Yeah, very good experience.
That's great. So, Eben, talking about corruption at our borders, what do you think can be done to eradicate this?
Corruption in itself, it's very bad and crazy. There's been cases of corruption. I think the famous Netherlands woman who at the Nigerian border was being demanded money. Give me money, give me money, give me money. Corruption would forever stay with us. Corruption at a particular level is good, but plenty corruption is bad. And we are very famous and notorious when it comes to corruption here in Ghana. Recently, Joy News did a documentary about how corrupt the officials are at our various borders. And would there ever be a cure for corruption? I don't think so. I think it would be better if we have very strict officers, good training at our borders, officials being brought to book when there's evidence being brought up, and if there is a cashless and paperless system being brought up, corruption would reduce. But corruption would never. There is no like zero corruption. I don't think so. Yeah, of course.
I think what you're saying is actually true, because like talking about corruption being fully eradicated is something that I doubt is possible. But then it can be reduced by one, putting up very strong systems like quality training for the immigration officers at our borders, and then also the IT systems, like the computing systems and everything has to be put in place. Like these various systems that will make our borders very effective and efficient can help bring down the corruption on our borders.
Beside the fact of training the officers, I think it will also be crucial to see if they are well paid, because this is I think one of the biggest problems. Yes, they can be the best trained in the world, but if they are not well paid, this is where they are. That's basically where they are going to get paid. So.
Talking about Borderless Africa, you cannot talk about moving freely within Africa without talking about the currency differences. right? So, Eben, what are your thoughts about like, if someone wants to move within African countries? Of course, we have different currencies. Others are stronger than the other. But what do you think will help with this situation?
I've always wanted Africa and Africans to have a single currency, especially to be a major currency against the dollar and the euro and the pounds, because Americans and Europeans are very, very, very pompous and see themselves to be like above others. And if there's one currency, a very strong one within the whole Africa, I think it's going to be a great idea. And there's a lot of currencies within Africa, and it hinders trade in Africa. If there is a single currency, one currency, ease of movement of people and goods will be very, very, very easy. I wouldn't have to worry about going to Cote d'Ivoire and then changing my Ghana cedis to France, or moving here and now I have to look for a bureau and like now change. If we have just the currency, just one currency, a major one, which would probably be backed by gold, there's a lot of gold here. I think it's going to be a very, very great step in making Africa one, making a borderless Africa.
With these one currency within Africa, right? I feel like it's going to help in terms of business, because when you have a business in Liberia and you move to let's say Cote d'Ivoire to establish another branch of the business, because the whole Africa will spend one currency, it will be able to become easy for you, because like you don't have to like change from the currency to the next one, but it's the same currency. So I think it's going to ease business owners and entrepreneurs too as well. So yeah, it's a great idea. What about you, bro?
Well, yes, I think it's a very good perspective. I don't know much about currencies, but probably people moving freely around a country, trading without, as you said, Ebenezer, without a lot of restrictions. I think yes, it's going to bring a big development and increase the diversity, especially, yes, and also probably increase the different African countries in terms of economy.
I would like to add something. An European can just take his bags, go to a train station in Paris, have an amount of euros on him or herself, and just like move, end up in Warsaw, move, just go across the whole of Europe without any restrictions, especially when it comes to currency, because they have one currency, they have a single currency, a very strong currency too. Yeah, that's what I would do. So it's easier to move around in your continent if there is one currency.
Do you think we are actually going to have the same experience if Africans were able to move very freely as European does in Europe?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be even way easier, because like we are the same people. We are the food sometimes we eat are like similar. We do basically everything in similar ways. So moving from Cairo to, let's say, Cape Town, it's going to be easy for you, because when you take a train to, let's say, Mauritania, then you take a flight from there to, let's say, Kenya, Nairobi, because we spend the same currency, nobody's going to stop you and be like, oh, what are your papers? Where's your passport? Where's your this? Of course, they're going to ask you this, but it's going to be way less. And with the currency issue too as well, you're not now going to change to 3 or 4 different currencies just because you're making stopovers in these cities. So I think it's going to help. And actually, business-wise too, like I said earlier, it will help, because me as a Ghanaian, if I establish my own business and I want to spread my business across Africa, it's going to be easy for me, because I can decide, okay, tomorrow I want to open an office in Algeria. I want to open an office in, let's say, Zimbabwe. I want to open an office in another country too as well. So yeah, it's going to be of great help to us. And it all comes to we, the Africans and our leaders, actually being one and coming upon an agreement that, yeah, we want this for our future as an African continent. So yeah.
And I've noticed something. Whenever we are making transactions, we usually quote the dollars, the US dollars, the USD, because I'm speaking as a Ghanaian. The Ghana cedis isn't really a strong currency. If the whole of Africa come together, establish a currency which would be a very strong currency, we would stop using the USDs and euros and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Talking about this one African currency, right? It being backed by gold will be a great advantage to us because we are the continent which produces gold for the world. So if it's being backed by gold, then it means that we'll become a superpower in no time. Give us just 10 years to do that, and we're going to see the magic. So I feel like creating a one currency being backed by gold will be a super thing. It's a great idea for the whole Africa. So
yeah, yes, but now we have a lot of countries dividing themselves, going to a particular part and separating themselves from others. You're having a lot of African countries having, how I'm going to say, arguments, a kind of cold war between ourselves. You have African countries in which other Africans feel superior. So do you think it's really going to be possible for us to reunite all the African, for people to move freely? By example, like if I'm a Ghanaian, I want to go to Morocco, or I want to go to Cairo or Mauritania. Yes, because I think there is a big problem with if I'm going to say socializing or something like that. We have a problem because this is actually obvious. We have a lot of Africans pushing others away. We have a lot of Africans thinking themselves to be above. So do you think a country like South Africa will be okay with creating a no border with maybe Namibia, Zimbabwe? How is it going to be? Is it going to be real, or what do you guys?
I think our leaders have always made this very impossible for us, because the idea of single currency for the whole of Africa was brought up, I think, in the 1950s, 1960s, and we are now in 2024, and even in our sub-regions here in Africa, let's say in West Africa, there's also the idea of creating a single currency for the whole of West Africa. That one too seems to be in the mud. So I don't know why they are making this very impossible for us. Maybe there might be some downsides which we don't know of, or maybe selfishness or blah blah blah. But yeah, I think it's been quite undoable for now, and I don't think it's going to be doable, let's say in like 5 years time.
A very long process.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long. Our leaders are making everything quite very hard for us. So yeah.
Entrepreneurship in Africa, right? Do you think when we are one, it's going to be more improved than currently?
Yeah, it's going to be very improved, because even in our dividedness, there's still a lot of businesses within Africa that's like in so many countries. Yeah, so yeah.
Yes, right now we are still divided. There is still a lot of fight some countries are fighting to bring some Africans together, and right now we are divided. So I think it's going to be greater when we are all united. We are all able to understand each other. Yes, I think it's going to be a very boom. Yes, but still we are prevented. We are still away from it because I think we have bad leaders, and we have bad leaders collaborating with bad collaborators.
When we are together, it's going to be like even more powerful because you're not now going to be like, oh, I'm going to look for a new like, let's say you own a business in Ghana and you want to expand to, let's say, Rwanda. So you want to expand to Rwanda, and because Africa, we are one, regulations are also going to be one. It's not now you're going to be like, oh, okay, I have to look for new regulations to suit your company in this particular country. So yeah, I think it's going to make works like the work of an entrepreneur very, very easy, and it will boost profitability too as well. So yeah.
Talking about us coming together, how do we proceed? I think this is a very important subject. So how do we proceed? How do we bring people together? Like practically, how do we get there?
I think this conversation we are having now has probably been discussed by 1,000 times a long time ago. Even up to now, discussions are still going on how to make us one. And there are very learned people in their various fields of education that do stuff. They know what they are doing, and they're making sure that Borderless Africa is feasible. I'm sure there has been a lot of studies and a lot of econs, business, commerce, trade, administration. A lot of processes has already been done to make sure if this idea is practical and how best it's going to suit us. I'm sure the downs and ups has already been evaluated, and a lot of assessment has already been done. So yeah, and if I'm sure there's been a lot of like findings already, and I'm sure that they know what to do. Our leaders know what to do. The people in these various fields know what to do, and yeah, it's very, very practical. The practicality is like way up.
To add on to what you are saying, I think some other countries have already started taking baby steps. Talking about South Africa like this, I think a few years ago they were able to implement, give some countries free movement into South Africa with minimal restrictions. And I think that's a smart idea. And also Rwanda is also doing same with the VISIT RWANDA initiative. So
okay. But do you remember what you were saying? Yes.
Yeah.
But it was. I think you have to cut the part. It was like.
No, I think
Okay.
Oh, so something entered my mind indeed.
Okay, alright.
Okay.
But what are your thoughts about the VISIT RWANDA?
Oh, a very, very like the best, I think, policy ever in Africa, because at a certain point in time I was supporting PSG because of Messi, and I was always happy to see VISIT Rwanda or India like this. I was like, wow. And Kalije also went to Rwanda. There was like, he posted a lot of beautiful videos. I think they have a gorilla outdooring ceremony, which I think
gorilla nest.
Yeah, and Rwanda Nkasa here, like very, 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 very great place to be. So yeah, I think the concept was very great. I'm sure they rigged in a lot of money too as well. I saw pictures of Jesus Navas, Sergio Ramos going there, and it promoted Africa. Also, Kendrick Lamar did a show there recently because of the VISIT Rwanda policy. I think the best policy to have ever been here.
Some other countries have started taking like steps on making this a reality. We're not saying it will happen overnight, but it's going to take time for it to happen.
I think it's going to happen. Yes, and besides talking about Rwanda, let's also talk about where we are actually in Ghana. So I think there is a great work. Yes, they are actually doing a great work, especially when it comes to Chaliwati. Yeah, like this is incredible. Like, yeah, I'm waiting for this.
So I think Ghana is also doing a great job with that, because they implemented an initiative in 2020 called Beyond the Return.
Yo, the return.
Yo, bro.
Beyond. Oh, you like Beyond the Return, actually? Okay, let's go.
No, say again.
The year of
the year of return. Right.
okay.
I'm hoping I don't forget. So I think Ghana also implemented an initiative like that in 2020, and they named it the Year of Return, right? And actually they continued it, and now it's Beyond the Return by bringing in lots of activities for these African diasporans to come into Ghana during December to end the year and also to usher themselves into the new year. So it's a way of bringing and uniting Africans together, no matter where you are from, no matter your color is being raised. And yeah, so Ghana is also doing a great job with that.
I loved that policy to us. The Year of Return was a very, very great policy. In fact, I loved it. Very, very, very great. The fact that we are able to open our arms to receive, we open our arms, we are like ever embracing, we accept everybody, anybody. There is a proverb in Ghana, Lopi fite wonu. A lot of fish don't spoil soup. Enampi and say enquine. So we receive a lot, we receive, and we are very, very friendly. And it played a lot. The foreigners, especially black diasporians who came here, they experienced our culture, which they've lost. They experienced the heritage. They saw things. They saw how we do our stuff. They saw how we do our things here, and it was a very, very great step. And big ups to the president, Nanado. And also, he has been talking a lot about reparations from the slavery era, which Ghana, we are rich. We don't need reparations from anybody. So yeah, so please come to Ghana. Ghana is a very beautiful country, very friendly, welcoming, and yeah, we are now in the Beyond the Return era.
It's because of this speech that I'm here in Ghana.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Oh yes.
Oh nice. If you've been this far into the video, we would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. We'll be happy to address your concerns in the next video. So yeah, I think the other video we did with you, someone was like, you're Congolese, you're a Frenchman, but your English is very good. How did you get a very good English?
Oh wow, this is basically I've learned English when I was in Congo. I used to learn alone because at a certain time I knew that I was probably I would probably reach in West Africa. I'll probably find myself in a West African country. So I thought it was very important learning the language. And here now I'm improving. I guess I'm still improving and communicating with people, but I'm not forgetting the most important, the African languages, which is for me the most important. Even though I didn't reach the level I want yet. Yes, but actually I'm learning Tui and Ga. Yes, so Midasi.
That's very good. Actually, so those of you who asked how is he able to speak English very, very fluently, so there's your answer. And yeah, we appreciate your time you spend with us, and Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. One Africa.